For over a century, the gas station was as American as anything you could name. You built your life around it. You planned your road trips around it. You budgeted for it every single month whether you wanted to or not. Oil companies knew it. Car manufacturers knew it. And for 100 years, nobody seriously believed that was ever going to change. Then, something started happening that nobody in the industry wanted to talk about out loud. The price of electric vehicle batteries started dropping. Slowly at first, then faster again. Engineers who had spent their whole careers working on combustion engines quietly started moving to EV divisions. Charging stations started appearing on highways that had never seen anything but a gas pump. And one by one, the arguments against electric vehicles started falling apart. Range too short? Not anymore. Price too high? Not in 2026. Charging too inconvenient? Not when you wake up every morning with a full charge in your own garage. What you're about to see is not a prediction about where the car industry is going. This is a report from the moment it already got there. 5 electric vehicles. 5 prices that should not be possible. And one question that every person shopping for a used gas SUV right now needs to hear before they sign anything. Before we even get to the EVs, we need to understand what the benchmark actually is. According to the latest data from Carfax, used car prices remain historically high, even with recent declines across most segments. A used midsize gas SUV, something like a 2 to 4-year-old Ford Escape, Hyundai Tucson, or Chevrolet Equinox, is sitting right in the $28,000 to $35,000 range on average. That is the number we are working with. That is the target our 5 EVs have to match or beat. Now here's another thing to keep in mind before we jump in. Automakers have been aggressively cutting prices on electric vehicles going into 2026. According to Inside EVS, 2026 alone will see 32 brand new EV models launched in the United States. That level of competition is driving prices down in a way we have never seen before in the electric vehicle space. So the deals being made right now are genuinely the best they have ever been. On top of that, electricity costs the average driver about 4 to 6 cents per mile to travel, compared to over 15 cents per mile for gasoline. And when you factor in that EVs have dramatically fewer moving parts, fewer oil changes, fewer brake jobs, the savings stack up fast. One study found that a person driving 12,000 miles per year can save between $1,200 and $1,800 annually just in fuel alone by switching from gas to electric. So with all of that context in place, let us start counting down. Number 5. The 2026 Subaru Uncharted. Kicking off our list at number 5 is a brand new name that a lot of people have not heard yet. The 2026 Subaru Uncharted. This compact electric crossover is arriving at U.S. dealerships in the first half of 2026, and it is built on the same next-generation platform as the redesigned Nissan Leaf. So right away you know the bones are solid. The Uncharted uses a 74.7 kilowatt-hour battery across all trims, and it is targeting over 300 miles of range. Now, Subaru has not released official EPA numbers yet, but given the platform it is riding on and the efficiency tuning they have done, that 300-mile target is very credible. The FWD premium version comes in at $34,995, which already sits right at the top end of the average used gas SUV range we talked about. And for that price, you are getting a lot. Standard across every trim is a 14-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. You also get Subaru's EyeSight driver assistance suite, which is one of the more respected driver safety systems in the industry. There is battery preconditioning built in, a standard NACS charging port that gives you access to Tesla's massive Supercharger network, and DC fast charging at up to 150 kilowatts that takes you from 10 to 80% charge in about 28 minutes. That is a fast lunch break charge if you are on a road trip. The Uncharted also has 8.2 inches of ground clearance, so it handles itself on light off-road terrain, which fits perfectly with Subaru's reputation. If you have always been a Subaru loyalist but held off on EVs, this is the one built specifically for you. Number 4. The 2026 Chevrolet Bolt. At number 4, we have got the 2026 Chevrolet Bolt, and this one might surprise people who dismissed it years ago because the Bolt has gone through a serious transformation. The refreshed Bolt for 2026 comes in as the most affordable vehicle on our entire list, starting at around $27,000 before any incentives. That puts it well below the average used gas SUV price point, and that matters because you're getting something brand new with a full warranty. Range comes in at 262 miles on the EPA estimate, and real-world testing puts it somewhere between 230 and 250 miles in mixed driving conditions. Now, you might look at that number and say it is the lowest on our list, and you would be right. But here is the thing. 262 miles covers the daily driving needs of the overwhelming majority of American households. The average American drives about 37 miles per day. That means, even on a half charge, the Bolt handles a full day of errands, commuting, and school pickups without breaking a sweat. Chevy also equipped the 2026 Bolt with 150 kilowatt DC fast charging and a NACS port, so you have full access to the Supercharger network. The motor puts out 210 horsepower, which gives it a peppy, fun character in city driving. The compact hatchback design makes parking a non-issue in tight urban and suburban environments, and the interior has been upgraded significantly from where the Bolt started its life, with wireless CarPlay and Android Auto now standard. If budget is your primary concern and you want to get into a new EV without stretching your finances, the Bolt is the clearest argument on this list. Nothing else at this price point comes close to what it offers. Number 3. The 2026 Toyota BZ. Moving up to number 3, we have the 2026 Toyota BZ, which used to be called the BZ4X before Toyota gave it a shorter name, a longer range, and a lower price for this model year. And all three of those changes were absolutely needed. The headline number here is 314 miles of EPA-rated range on the base front-wheel drive configuration. That actually makes the entry-level BZ the range leader among its own lineup, which is a smart move by Toyota because it gives buyers the most compelling reason to choose the less expensive trim. Real-world testing suggests drivers can reliably hit somewhere between 260 and 290 miles depending on temperature, speed, and load. That is very usable range for the vast majority of driving scenarios. Pricing for the 2026 BZ starts in the low 30s, making it a legitimate competitor against the used gas SUV market. Toyota also cleaned up the exterior styling compared to the polarizing original design, so it looks much more mainstream and approachable now. But honestly, the biggest reason to consider the Toyota BZ is right there in the name: Toyota. This is one of the most trusted automotive brands on the planet, known for building cars that run for 200,000 miles without major issues. Getting that level of long-term reliability in an EV at this price point is genuinely compelling. Toyota also backs the BZ with a strong warranty, and the resale value on Toyota products has historically been among the best in the industry. If you are someone who likes to keep your vehicles for a long time and wants peace of mind, the BZ is hard to argue against. Number 2, the 2026 Nissan Leaf. At number 2, we have one of the most talked about EV transformations of this entire year, the completely redesigned 2026 Nissan Leaf. And I want to be clear about something here. This is not a refresh. This is not an update. This is a full, ground-up reinvention of a vehicle that honestly needed it. The old Leaf had a few major problems. The CHAdeMO charging port was becoming increasingly rare at public charging stations, making road trips frustrating. The range was limited. and the design looked dated compared to everything coming to market. Nissan heard all of that feedback and addressed every single point. The 2026 Leaf now rides on Nissan's modern CMF EV platform, which is the same architecture that underpins the Ariya. It has completely abandoned Chicha demo in favor of the NACS port, opening up access to Tesla's Supercharger network and every other major charging station in America. Range on the 75 kilowatt-hour battery reaches up to 303 miles on the S Plus model. And during Edmunds real-world testing, a Leaf Platinum Plus trim that was EPA, rated for 259 miles, actually managed to travel 310 miles on a single charge. That kind of performance in real-world conditions is impressive and tells you the battery management system is doing serious work. The interior has been completely overhauled with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, remote preconditioning, and 214 horsepower that gives the car genuine highway confidence. The design has also shifted away from the old, blobby hatchback aesthetic towards something with crossover vibes, which is a smart move since that is what today's buyers want. DC fast charging comes in at 150 kilowatts, getting you from 10 to 80% in around 28 minutes. Pricing starts in the high 20s, which positions the Leaf right in that sweet spot of being significantly cheaper than the average used gas SUV, while offering more technology, more range, and a full new vehicle warranty. The 2026 Leaf is everything the original should have been, and it has arrived at exactly the right moment. Number 1. The 2026 Chevrolet Equinox EV. And at number 1, we have a vehicle that has done something truly remarkable. It took a beloved, familiar name in American garages and turned it into one of the best value propositions in the electric vehicle market. The 2026 Chevrolet Equinox EV is our pick for the top long-range affordable EV of the year, and the numbers back it up completely. Let us start with range. The base front-wheel drive Equinox EV carries an EPA rating of 319 miles. That is the highest EPA-rated range of any vehicle on this list. But what really cemented its position at number 1 is what happened during Edmunds' independent real-world range testing. Their team drove the Equinox EV in normal, mixed driving conditions and achieved 356 miles on a single charge. That is not the EPA number. That is real-world, real driver performance that beat the EPA estimate by 37 miles. In the EV world, that is a significant overperformance. Now let us talk about price. The Equinox EV starts at around $35,000 in base form, which puts it right at the top ceiling of what an average used gas SUV costs right now. But here is the thing. At $35,000, you're getting a brand new vehicle with 0 miles, a full factory warranty, and access to Chevy's nationwide service network. Compare that to spending $30,000 to $32,000 on a used gas Equinox with 80,000 miles on it, no warranty, and climbing fuel costs, and the math gets very uncomfortable for the gas version very quickly. The Equinox EV is built on General Motors' Ultium platform, which is a sophisticated, purpose-built EV architecture that delivers smooth, quiet, confident performance. It has available all-wheel drive for buyers who want extra capability in winter weather or on slippery roads. The interior is spacious, practical, and family-friendly. The infotainment system is user-friendly and modern, and critically, it charges on NACS, giving you full Supercharger access. But beyond all of the technical specs, the Equinox EV wins this list because of what it represents for everyday American buyers. It is a compact SUV. It looks like a compact SUV. It drives like a compact SUV. There is no learning curve, no dramatic lifestyle change required. You just plug it in at night instead of stopping at a gas station. For someone making the jump from a gas-powered crossover to an EV for the very first time, The Equinox EV removes almost every barrier to entry that might have held them back in the past. So we have gone through all 5. Let us take a step back and look at what this moment actually means for car buyers. The used car market is not going to get dramatically cheaper anytime soon. Supply chains, inflation, and ongoing demand have kept used vehicle prices elevated in a way that felt temporary 2 years ago, but is starting to feel structural. Meanwhile, new EV prices are moving in the opposite direction. Battery production has scaled up significantly. Competition among manufacturers is fierce, and automakers are absorbing more of the costs themselves to move inventory and gain market share. The result is a market where buying a new electric vehicle and buying a used gas SUV are genuinely price competitive with each other for the first time in history. And that is before you even account for what happens after you drive off the lot. The fuel savings alone, averaging between $1,200 and $1,800 per year at current gas prices, mean that most of these EVs will cost less to own over a 5-year period than their used gas competitors. Maintenance costs are lower because electric motors have far fewer components that wear out. There are no oil changes, no spark plugs, no transmission fluid flushes. Brake pads last longer because regenerative braking handles most of the deceleration. The total cost of ownership math has flipped in favor of EVs at these price points. Now, to be fair, there are real considerations you need to think through before making the switch. Charging infrastructure varies depending on where you live. If you live in an apartment or do not have access to home charging, the ownership experience is more complicated. Cold weather does reduce range, typically by 10 to 30% in winter conditions. So buyers in northern states need to plan accordingly. And range anxiety, even though it is becoming less justified as charging networks expand, is still a real psychological factor for some people. But for the buyer who has a garage, a daily commute under 80 miles, and even one road trip per year, every single vehicle on this list will handle their life without compromise. The charging network, especially with NACS access to Tesla's Supercharger network now available on all 5 of these vehicles, has matured to the point where long-distance travel is genuinely practical. Here's where I want to leave you. The conversation around electric vehicles has shifted dramatically in 2026. We're no longer talking about whether EVs are practical. We're talking about whether it still makes financial sense to buy used gas vehicles when the new EV alternatives cost the same or less, go farther than ever on a charge, and save you money every single month you own them. The 5 vehicles we covered today, the Subaru Uncharted, the Chevrolet Bolt, the Toyota BZ, the Nissan Leaf, and the Chevrolet Equinox EV, represent the best of what the affordable EV market looks like right now. They all have over 260 miles of real-world range. They all use NACS charging. They all start at prices that compete directly with the used gas SUV market. And they are all available right now at dealerships across the country. Now, if you have been on the fence about making the switch, the question is not really whether you can afford an EV anymore. The question is whether you can afford to keep paying gas prices while new EVs sit on lots at used car prices. That is the reality of 2026, and it is a genuinely exciting place to be as a car buyer. If you found this video helpful, drop a like and let me know in the comments which of these 5 vehicles you would pick and why. I read every single comment, and I want to hear your take. Subscribe if you want to stay current on everything happening in the EV space, because this market is moving fast, and we are going to keep up with every major development. I will see you in the next one.